and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode, we'll be discussing who's had the better transfer window so far out of Liverpool and Manchester City after spending roughly £100 million each on transfers this season. But before that, as always, like, comment and subscribe. It is very much appreciated and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel. And I just want to quickly say a massive thank you to all my subscribers, all of the likes and the comments on social media, on my YouTube videos as well. It's been absolutely incredible stuff so far. So I just want to say, yeah, a massive thank you to everybody. I can't, thank you guys enough. But anyways, let's just get straight into the video, shall we? We are doing this episode because Liverpool have broken the British transfer fee record of £116 million spent on Florian Wirtz from Bayern Leverkusen, okay? Now, that is an absolutely extraordinary amount of money there spent on one player. Hopefully I said that word right, I'm not too sure. But you know what? That player is very, very expensive. But for me, when we speak about whether or not is it a good signing, I feel like, Liverpool are investing heavily in potential. Don't get me wrong, Florian Wirtz is an absolutely world beater at the moment. He's probably one of the most sought after attacking midfielders in that sort of position because, he was linked with Manchester City a few months ago when there was rumours that Kevin De Bruyne was leaving. Now he's off to Napoli. So, Liverpool sort of, Liverpool sort of beat Man City to the race, to the signature of Florian Wirtz. But I feel like when we discuss Man City and compare the two transfer businesses later on in the video, you can sort of see their strategy. Going to sign 3 players instead of 1 player, you know what I mean? Spending over £100 million on 3 players instead of 1. So we'll be discussing who's had the better window. For me, Florian Wirtz, when we speak about some of his stats, okay, he's got 16 goals and 15 assists out of 45 games this season. And, he's helped Bayern Leverkusen to sort of, try and challenge for that Bundesliga title once again. But they just couldn't get over the line this season. But what he did a few seasons ago under Xabi Alonso to win the Bundesliga was absolutely fantastic. That team were absolutely flying that one year. And I feel like, Florian Wirtz is the main man at Bayern Leverkusen, and he was the one, to drive that team forward and to make them competitive in the Bundesliga. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a fantastic signing for Liverpool. I feel like it does, transition Liverpool into having another world-class talent on their roster. But for me, when you think about where Florian Wirtz actually fits into the team, I'm not too sure, just because obviously you've got Szoboszlai there, you've got Luis Diaz there in the left winger position. So when you think about Florian Wirtz being more of an attacking midfielder, will he overtake Szoboszlai straight away? I'm not too sure. Will Szoboszlai, sit on the bench? I feel like that probably is the more likely option. But I could also see him, Florian Wirtz playing out wide on the left wing maybe, linking up with Salah, that's in that sort of front 3 area. And maybe Luis Diaz might sit on the bench just because I think he's done it a few times this season where he's played that left wing role and he has impressed. I feel like he's more than capable to play both positions in certain games, in certain teams where you've got to maybe break down the press and all this sort of stuff. When you've got a team sitting deep, you might need Florian Wirtz on that left winger position to sort of run at the right back, run at the centre backs and whatnot. When we talk about Florian Wirtz, he is definitely one of the most sought after central attacking midfielders in the whole world at the moment. And I do think it's a good signing overall. I think 116 million is a little bit too much on one player. I'm a little bit sceptical because we don't know how he's going to fit into that slot system. I feel like he definitely will do. I feel like Szoboszlai will probably have to make the transition onto the bench just because I feel like Luis Diaz has a little bit more to offer on that left wing than probably Szoboszlai has in that team. I don't know, but then again, he's been probably one of the better midfielders in that Liverpool side as well. So I'm not too sure. I feel like it elevates that Liverpool midfield though, gives them another option, and I really do like the signing. He's got to go into that Liverpool team and hit the ground running straight away, because if he doesn't, he'll get a lot of stick from the supporters, from everybody else in the media, from everybody else, from all the rival fans and all this sort of stuff. So he's got to go there and hit the ground running, and he's got all the tools to do it, so I can't see why not. I'm really excited to see Florian Wirtz in that Liverpool shirt. Just a quick little stat on Florian Wirtz before we move on to something else, okay. Florian Wirtz has won 383 tackling duels securing second place in the league for that statistic in the Bundesliga. So when you think about him being capable of winning a midfield battle, or tackling battle, okay, that will give Liverpool another element in that midfield where, you know, they might be missing that this season. I'm not too sure. Obviously, they've gone on and win the league. So if you're getting a player for 116 million, splashing the cash like that straight away, not messing about, securing that deal over the line, getting that business done instead of you know, Manchester City, I feel like that's fantastic. It gives them another option in that midfield to go on and potentially challenge for a league again. I feel like they're left back away from, you know, clicking their fingers and winning it again straight away without even being in a title race with, you know, the likes of Man City and Arsenal. I generally do feel like they can easily run away with that league if they get a left back in the summer transfer window. We'll have to wait and see if they can get a Kirkes and Anthony Robinson, someone of that calibre. It is pretty much going to be game over for the rest of the league at this point, from my opinion. But okay, let's move on to, you know, Manchester City signings to see who's had the better transfer window, okay? Obviously, Pep Guardiola was very hopeful they could get a deal done for Florian Wirtz, but they sort of went away from that and spent the cash on 3 major signings in the likes of Yaet Nouri, Ryan Cherchi and Tyjan Reinders. Hopefully I've said that right, I'm not too sure, but obviously the Dutch centre mid from AC Milan. Absolutely fantastic piece of business there. To spend roughly, you know, over £100 million on those 3 players. Plus Marcus Bellatini, the third choice goalkeeper from like Fulham or something, what it was, or Brighton or something like that. You know, obviously he's going to sit on the bench or whatnot, so he's just going to replace Scott Carson, I'm pretty sure, so it doesn't matter too much. To spend the majority of your money on those 3 transfers in the early stages of the transfer window, Man City absolutely mean business, and they can't afford to have another season what they had last season, okay, where they finished just about got 4th over the line, just about got top 4 in the Premier League. Basically, Pep Guardiola said to the board at Man City, they need to go all out for these next 3 major signings, okay. And obviously we spoke about Yaet Nouri and Ryan Cherchi a little bit in one of our previous videos, so go check that out if you want to hear my thoughts on those 2 signings. But I do really feel like if we talk about Reinders just quickly, because I haven't spoken about that transfer yet, I do think he's had such a strong season at AC Milan, okay. You know, he's made 54 appearances in total and he's scored 15 goals and got 5 assists. So if you compare that to Florian Wirtz, he's scored more goals, okay, yes, got less assists, but from that sort of, you know, more number 6 defensive midfielder position, Reinders is going to be an absolute major part of that Manchester City side, okay? Because if you think about that midfield of Rodri, Reinders, Nico Gonzalez maybe, you've got Bernardo Silva who can play in that number 8 position, you've got other players in there as well, like Ilkay Gundogan maybe as well. When you think about that Man City midfield, it's absolutely stacked, and I really do feel like, you know, Reinders is an exceptional buy because they didn't spend that much money on him. They only cost 46.5 million, and when you put that into the perspective, okay, you've got Florian Wirtz for 116, you've got Reinders for 46.5, and you know, okay, yes, Man City haven't sort of what's it called, replace Kevin De Bruyne as such as getting like an attacking midfielder. Okay, they've got Ryan Cherchi, who is more of a, I want to say, you know, winger, left winger, right winger, who can play both positions in there as well. So I feel like Reinders, they've sort of gone away from more of an attacking midfielder and brought us more of a defensive midfielder in there. So for me, I feel like those 2 are going to dominate the league this season with in the likes of Rodri and Reinders, because they're both tall, strong, they've got great passing, great vision, that they can you know, their defensive capabilities are fantastic as well. They can cut out the ball, they can cut out you know, counter attacks from the opposition as well. So when you think about that midfield, it only has got better and better for Manchester City. So obviously when we think about the other 2 deals, Ryan Cherchi I think is a fantastic piece of business as well. I really do like that player a lot. I honestly do feel like he's going to tear up that league, and I do feel like, you know, he's gonna absolutely run right on the Premier League now. He had so many goal contributions in League One, of course. I think he got, I want to say 12 goals and 20 assists. Hopefully I'm correct. But yeah, I feel like that's a fantastic piece of business. I think Yait Nouri, I'm a little bit more sceptical on. I just don't think he's going to come in and, you know, be a main starter for that Man City side. Okay, when you've got Gvardiol in that sort of left-back position as well, I just don't know how many minutes Yait Nouri's going to get. And don't get me wrong, it is a squad game. He'll be good to bring off the bench and whatnot from that point of view. So I do think it's alright business. But again, I feel like if you had brought like someone like a Kirkes or an Anthony Robinson, they'll get into the team straight away. But that's just my opinion. Okay, when we compare both windows, Liverpool or Man City, who would I prefer to have? I think it would be Man City overall, just because the two players in Ryan Churchy and Rendez, absolutely incredible piece of business. And when you think about it, they are quite cheap. Okay, and then obviously throwing Yait Nouri in there, they needed a left back. They've needed a left back for so many years. That's one area they've been crying out for, and they've finally got their natural left back in Yait Nouri. And I do feel like he'll do decent stuff at Man City, even though I'm a little bit sceptical, like I've just said a few minutes ago. So I do think Man City have won the transfer window. At the moment, don't get me wrong, it's very early stages in the transfer window, and obviously at this point in time in recording, I'm pretty sure the transfer window is currently closed, but it opens again on the 16th. So hopefully by the time it gets released, we can start talking about, you know, rumoured transfers and whatnot again. But obviously, okay, Florian Wirtz, absolutely incredible player, but at the end of the day, Liverpool are invested heavily in potential, and that's all it is. He's a 22-year-old German attacking midfielder. He's a fantastic world beater player at the moment, but I do feel like he's got to adapt to the Premier League. He's got to adapt to how Slot wants them to play. You know, he's got to adapt to what position he's going to play. Is he more of a, you know, is he going to suit that number 8 position in the Premier League? It's a different system to what he plays at Bayern Leverkusen, of course. Is he going to be more of a left winger? I don't know. These are all questions that I'm trying to ask myself, trying to work out, but we'll figure that out in the first game of the season, I suppose. I just want to end the video asking some questions, okay? Who do you think has had the best transfer window so far? Liverpool or Man City? Which player are you looking to most excited? Which player are you most excited for? Florian Wirtz, Churchy, Rendez, Yait Nouri? Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think? Where do you think Florian Wirtz is going to fit into that midfield? Where do you think he's going to play? Is he more of a number 8? Do you reckon he'll replace Sloboslai, or will he replace Luis Diaz? I'm not too sure. So yeah, those are all my questions. But as always, like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes a long way into helping me build a small community on my channel. All the likes, the comments, the subscribers at the moment, we are like 1 subscriber off 40 subscribers, and that is quite a lot compared to my previous podcast channel that we did at uni, of course. But I just want to say an absolutely massive credit to you guys, and thank you for, you know, continually showing your support on these videos. So a massive thank you for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.